Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be learning how to do this. Yep, this tutorial I call the Bob tutorial. This friend of mine is called Bob, and he's a very humble guy, hardworking, and he's an awesome person. So I made him as an example of this really basic and straight to the point tutorial. So let's get started. So today I will be talking about green screen using Keylight, fixing out alphas, and clean plate of the shirt, logo replacement, and integration of the logo, and some color corrections. So let's go back all the way to the source, this guy right here. So I made Bob stand behind a green screen. The quality is not so good because of the lighting that we have. It was just room lighting, so we just had to use whatever we have on that situation. So as you can see, I use the Keylight right there, and for those people who are not familiar with Keylight, it's one of the really effective keyer that is available in Nuke right now. So you just press tab and type Keylight, then use the source pick whip, connect it to reformat, double click it, make sure that you are selecting the current node, and then you go to screen color, click on the black box right here, and hover your cursor on the footage, press Control. And my style is I usually go to the lightest green. I don't want to pick on the shadow right here. I picked on the brightest right here, on the screen left side of Bob. So I press Control and then left click, and the green color automatically disappears. But we're not done yet, because if you press A, when you press A, you go to alpha mode right there. See right there? And it's not clean. So our main task for this one is to clean the whole alpha and take out the rest of these information right here surrounding Bob. So while on the alpha mode, my go-to settings, usually I go straight to the screen mat right here. You could make some adjustments right here, but I usually do it after. So I usually go straight to the screen mat and I crank up the clip black. Just crank up the clip black. I usually go to 0.5 to 1 right there, and I crank up the clip white. Maybe like that, 5.9, and I dilate just a little bit. I go screen softness and screen despot white. I don't know how you pronounce this one, despot or despo. Pardon me if I mispronounce the word. So just play around with the settings right here. I can crank up some of the whites some more and the blacks. And I could go to tuning and then just play around with the black values right there, eat it up entirely. I can play around with the other settings, but I'm usually fine with this one. Like that, you could crank up some of the screen gains right there. Just you could do screen balance, doesn't really do much. You could do a screen pre-blur if you want. But I'm kind of satisfied with this one. This is not clean yet, but it's right there. So if you press A again, now you see that, you know, most of the green information is gone. But then you'll notice that the sides, the edges of Bob right here is very dirty. So we could clean it up, and I will show you guys how I enhance the edges as we move along. So let's go back to Bob, press A, and I already have the Keylight right here, and these are this is my existing Keylight settings right here, so you could look at it and you could copy it. Never really touched the tuning right there. So those are the settings, and from there what I did was I made a tracker, because I will be using this one later. So if you guys are not familiar with the 2D tracker, I could show you guys the very basic idea of how to use a tracker. But this is not a tracking tutorial, okay? But I just want to give you guys an intro of the 2D tracker. So you could press tab, type tracker, connect this one to the postage stamp, make sure you double click it, and you add a tracker. Usually the point of tracker 1 usually goes right here on the edge. You just have to drag it all the way, and make sure you find an information that is high in contrast. So if you look at Bob's t-shirt, what pops out is the red color right there. So you could put the first track right there, and you just press this button right here, and it will automatically track the information, specifically the red information on the logo of Bob's shirt. Now this is an easy tracking because the footage that I took from Bob was he didn't really move that much, so it's an advantage when it comes to tracking. But the more your subject moves, the more it's going to be harder to track. And there's a couple ways to get that track if your subject is moving too much. But for now, let's we're good for this one. Alright, so we have a really good track right there, and you could keep adding tracks and run them, and once you have 4 of these tracks right here, all you have to do is then go to transform, switch the transform to match move, and reference frame. If you want to start to 0, you could, or you could pick whatever frames you want, but I just stay at 0, and that's all you need to do for now. These are some advanced stuff right here. You could look for other really advanced tutorials when it comes to 2D tracking, but for this one it's more like introduction and basic stuff. So once I got that tracking information, I made a roto on Bob's screen right arm. The purpose of this one is I'm gonna remove this guy right here because this one is a very dirty edge, This one I can live with it. It's okay with me. So I connect the 2D tracker to the Roto, and notice when I use a filter erode, channels alpha, size 5, right there, just to eat it up a little bit. And I gave it another filter erode just to like eat up some more edges. But I was thinking, it's still too dirty. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stencil it out. So basically, I made another version of the Roto and just stencil it out right there. So from here, because I'm gonna replace an information here with a cleaner alpha. So what I did is I just postage stamp what I had here so far, and I noticed that the RGB information here is that Bob's screen right arm is very clean, not the alpha but the RGB information. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I can use that as an alpha, and yes you can. So I shuffled it on the red channel right there, and I added a grade. From the grade I switch it to channels RGBA, black point 0.046, white point 0.155, and black I check black clamp and white clamp, and that's what you get right there. Nice clean alpha. And I gave it a little filter erode and just a tad of blur, and I used this as an alpha and copy pre-mold this existing RGB file. So right there, see the difference? It's eating up a little here, but I'm not worried about it because I only need this information right here. So from there I gave it a little hue correct, and I made another big Roto again just to take this information here, and I used the tracker that I had a while ago and I mask it, give it a good blur of 46.5. So from there I merge it on top. So if you go to alpha mode, you see this one from here. Now from here, that's 30. Give it a little filter erode, stencil it out, and merge the cleaner alpha on top. So that's a very big difference with the alpha right there, see? So now Bob is cleaner, and I gave it just a little bit of edge blur right there with the size of 3. So if you look at it, edge blur right there. Makes Bob be a little soft. And from there I was thinking, you know what, I'm gonna replace Bob's shirt logo. So I postage stamp the Keylight source and I Rotopaint it. Now for those beginners who are not familiar with Rotopaint, I can show you guys a really quick Rotopaint lesson. So you just have to press tab and type Rotopaint, connect it to the footage, double click it, and when you double click it, it will give you an interface over here on the screen left of your monitor. So you just have to click clone, and from there you could press shift to adjust the brush. And for cloning, I usually set the hardness to 0 and opacity to 0.35 so that it doesn't look like it's like being cut away, so it's like a little soft when you try to brush it. And you could move it when you press control. You could move the brush. The one that is moving is the one that is painting. The one that is still is the one that's cloning the information. So when I press control, this area right here will be cloned, and as I paint it on top, that's how it's gonna look like right there. So you just have to copy it. Make sure you be aware of your strokes right here. If you have a fast computer, you could go like 1,000 strokes and your computer will be fine. But some computers, will slow down after like 300 or 500 strokes. So be careful with that one. So you could keep on cloning this one right here. So now that we have a clean shirt. That's how I did it right here. And then I made an alpha. I mean a roto right here on the center, and I copy pre-molded, and I frame hold it on frame 0. The reason why you frame hold is so that when you put a tracker on it, it only moves as one frame. Because if you don't put a frame hold on it, it will show up, the paint that you did will be gone when it moves to the other frames. So frame hold is really good when you're doing clean plates. So then you add the tracker, the 2D tracker. Make sure that you turn on the T and the R. T is the transform, R is rotation, S is for scale. So I don't really need scale, so I just turn on the T's and the R's of all the 4 trackers. Make sure it's match move, reference frame to 0. Once you have that, if you play it, now it's moving. Same as Bob. So if you merge it on top, now logo is gone, shirt is clean, and it's awesome. Alright, so after that, I grab a logo, Captain America shield. It's a good logo for a shirt. And I added a transform and reformat just to fit on the stage. And I cleaned it up using a Roto. And because I did some painting on it, I put a frame mold on it. You could do whatever you want, how you want it to be. This was my setup right here, cleaning up the logo. And I add the 2D tracker that I did, and I merge it on top. What in the... What happened here? Interesting. Transform over there. All right, so it got mixed up. So from copy primo, I frame hold it, and then I put a transform node, scale it down, add the 2D tracker, and I added a little color correction, desaturate it, and gave it a little bit of defocus to blend in on Bob's shirt. And you might be wondering, like, well, it's a little bit desaturated right there. It doesn't look like the Captain America logo. But when you plus it here, I did something that will make the logo blend more to the shirt. Because if you don't have that, it's like very flat logo and looks very fake. So I did a merge color burn from Bob to the logo right there. If you A/B it, I used the logo, the Captain America logo as A and Bob clean plate as B, and I go to merge, operation color burn, and I have this. And this one is used as a merge to put back the details of the shirt. I did a little grade, black point 0.05, white point 0.83, lift, I even use a lift, negative 0.15, multiply to 1.27, black clamp on, white clamp on, and I did a little color correct, desaturated just a little bit. So from here I merge plus it, so this guy is being merged plus on top. See that one right there? Makes the logo real, believable. So remember this one right here. It's a very useful technique that you could do, tweak the logo to make it look believable. And from there I added a few highlights to mimic the light directions. So before we do this, let me turn this one off, and I just want to show you guys Bob with the background. So if you merge Bob with the background, it looks okay, you know, it's not, but it's not well integrated. So I'm gonna give some highlights to Bob by using a Roto right there, and I added the 2D track that I used on Bob's logo. So if you turn this color correction on, I made a warm color right there. So if you double click the color correct, I use the color palette, a warm color right there to mimic the the brightness of the background right here. There's a warm color on the background, and it's hitting Bob right there. The sun is coming on his screen left, and on the screen right, I emphasized his shadows right there. So I just used color correct and gain it down to 0.52. So you could do as many color corrects as you want. You could go crazy on it, but I'm fine with this one right here. And I added another warm color correct right there. And after that, I added a light wrap right there. If you don't know how to use a light wrap, I could show you really quick on how to use it. Just press tab, type light wrap. A is usually the character and B is the background. So if it's the first time using Lightwrap and you double click it, you don't see anything right here. But when you click on generate wrap only, disable luminance based wrap and enable glow, then you could crank up the intensity right there. You could play around with the diffuse however you want, crank up the intensity, foreground blur, you could even do the background blur, you could play around with the constant, the luma tolerance right there. And from there, I even gave it just a little more blur, and I merge plus it on top of everything. Merge plus it on top of everything right there. And Lightwrap is a very nice tool to blend the foreground and the background together. Very nice tool for compositing. So don't forget about Lightwrap. From there, I gave it another warmer color just to give it an eye candy type of effect. I even gave it sharpen there. And then I blurred the whole footage, gave it a value of 100, and then I merge plus it on top. So if you go like this, see, gives it a little bit of a heavenly look, and at the same time it gives, you know, and it blends the comp well. You could do different things, but this is usually my go-to when I'm comping. And the classic vignette right there. And I added a crop just to be safe and make sure that it's still 1920 by 1080. And from there I write it as JPEG right there, and the finished product is this guy right here. Yeah, this is a basic to intermediate type of compositing, from green screen to clean plating Bob's shirt, logo replacement, and putting the details back on the shirt on top of the new logo, giving some extra highlights of Bob, some color corrections and light traps. And if you compare it to the original footage, that's how it looks like. And yeah, you could use as many different things as you can. Like you could even, if you want, you could go back to some pictures here, and you could even use a different type of background. Let's use this guy right here and see how it looks like. And the Lightwrap automatically adjusts to it. Okay, grab another one right here, but then you'll see some issues right there, which means that you need a different type of color correct or adjust the alpha of Bob. And you could even replace the logo if you want. Let's go with this one right here. See if that one right there, it's not really lined up properly, but you could add a transform node and you could just adjust it so it lines up properly there. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, hope this helps you with your ongoing learning of Nuke, and study more, and hope this one helps. And thank you for watching, and hope to see you guys again. Bye bye.